Hi, this is Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart, and today is Tuesday, April 11th, 2017. This is the second part of the cannabis stocks video. I did I put out one yesterday. I actually recorded two. The second one had some type of technical glitch right as I wrapped it up, and it didn't save, so I wasn't able to process and upload it. So I'm re-recording this today, and I'll cover the remaining. I think there are a total of 40 in my watch list, 40 stocks. 39 stocks, the one ETF now that I'm tracking, the HMMJTO that I covered yesterday. And so that leaves 39 individual cannabis-related stocks. I believe I covered the bulk of those yesterday, and there's about 17 left, if I'm not mistaken here. So let's just dive into the charts. If you didn't watch that video, or more importantly, a lot of the previous ones, I just reiterate my preference to take a shotgun approach. Invest in many of these names. You don't have to buy all 40. God knows I don't have all 40 in my watch list. It's just too many to manage. However, the top 10 or dozen or maybe up to 20 or so, whatever's a manageable number for you, that's how I like to take these. And I also I trade them strategically. I will swing trade some of these sometimes for a quick move lasting a few days, a day or two, a week, couple weeks, but most of these are longer term investments. However, I will strategically micromanage my positions, and what that means is sell the rips if the stock has come up to a very strong resistance level. There's divergences, a lot of indication it's very overbought at one of my near-term profit targets, and it looks like a pullback in either that stock and or the sector is likely, such as we had, leading right up to the U.S. presidential elections. I mentioned that I suspected we'd get a sell the news event after the elections, and the majority of these stocks did fall after the election. They had pretty healthy corrections at that. So that's what I mean by micromanaging. And then you add back exposure at support. So you'll see examples as we go through here. CNAB has a history of these downtrend lines, very well defined, a break and a run. That first one, I'm just going to go to the right of the chart here, grab that level and use a measuring tool. So that run back there, it doesn't look like a lot. It was about 220%. Then we broke out from that same level again right here at the next downtrend line, and that one was good for a run of about 1,300%. So again, it doesn't look like a lot. That's because I'm using log scaling, and we also have this errant little candlestick here. So we get rid of that candlestick. We see a little bit different pattern. Before we had clear downtrend lines waiting for breakouts. This time around, we have an uptrend line it's what stands out to me. I don't see a very well-defined downtrend line. I do see an uptrend line, and that uptrend line broke. So that was bearish. And since it broke it's fallen to this one, it's at about $1.34 support level. If that level goes, it's really hard for me to say. On this one, I'm not crazy about it right here. It may hold that support level, and if it does and starts moving away and it breaks this resistance level, that would be bullish. However, I could see this one falling back down here at about the 103, almost 104 level. A lot of reactions to the left. That's a pretty well-defined support level. So that would be a little bit better buy point. So maybe if you did add some here, leave enough room to add some more when you get down to that level. That's CNAB. Again, not one of my favorites at this point in time, but maybe potential down the road. Signal Bay, SGBY. This one, back here, it really had very little volume. You can see these funky candlesticks, virtually no volume. And then when I put it on my radar back here, I noticed there was some nice volume coming into the stock. We had a pretty well-defined downtrend line. Breakout. Looks like XLK just crossed down through a support level. It's a price alert, but that's already an official trade ID on the site, so I'm not going to jump to that now. Here's the downtrend line, breakout, and just a tremendous run. We had, this was just to the first reaction was 875% or so. From until the music stopped playing altogether, that one went up 10,300%. That's not a typo. You can see the box to the left towards the bottom. So just tremendous potential in these things. And again, it doesn't take a lot, and you don't want to put a lot of money because you can get wiped out if you're on the wrong side of the trade, of one of the wrong, especially these penny stocks, these low price stocks. Risk and return go hand in hand. So the key to managing these is just sprinkle a little cash here and there. Sure, if you have one with a higher share price, larger market cap, maybe a better fundamental story. Absolutely, you want to overweight that one. You might have 3, 5, 10, 20 times the amount in a bigger, more established, diversified company than a stock like Signal Bay. But again, just a few $100s in a little stock like this, and to catch a 10,000% return, or even part of it, it's worth the effort. Especially if you have a stockbroker that has low commissions, like Interactive Brokers. You can trade these things for as little as $1 a trade. So that's Signal Bay, and what happened since that breakout, other than that monster run, is we set up in this bearish pennant pattern. Bearish rising wedge, I should have said. This marks the divergent high. This was negative divergence, as shown here with the PPO and the RSI making lower highs, while prices made a higher high. So that was the first indication, hey, we may be looking at a trend reversal. And as I often say, stocks correct in one of two ways, or a combination of both, time or price. And in this one, we had a correction both in price. We moved down from there, and we also corrected in time for the most part. And since then, we've come full circle. It's I can't say with certainty that the correction is over, but I can say that this sideways correction may have very well been enough to work off these overbought conditions and these divergences. So now I'm watching this downtrend line. It's fairly well defined, not great. We had 3 reactions here. Well, we broke out and we backtested, I should say. So we're backtesting that trend line. We also have what I like, the fact that we have dual support levels, intersecting support. We have downtrend line support, because we're on the top of that downtrend line, as well as that 2-cent share level, 0.02. So that's support. If that level goes, we have another support level down here around 1.5 cents, somewhere around there. And then just below that, another support level about 0.01, where is this line here? Sorry guys, 0.0127. And hopefully that holds. So this would be, the way I look at this, to try to make plain English of it, this is your buy-in, scale-in zone here. You might want to, if it continues much past there, maybe 2 consecutive days, 3 days, looks impulsive, it may be heading all the way down here. Now, if you want to give it enough room, if you're in this for the long haul, and you can scale down, there's a pretty decent support level around 0.0051. And you can leave room to scale in, or you could stop out or break above there, and if it gets back above here. If it does start moving higher, each of these lines are resistance levels. I don't have a line there. The previous reaction highs would be your final resistance, and above that it's all blue skies, meaning no resistance overhead. All right, let's go a little faster on the rest of these so I can get this over with. CCAN, Canadian Cannabis. Series of downtrend line breakouts. So here's one, it trades well. To the technicals, you have these series of downtrend lines. So like this one doesn't look like much. The other rips were bigger, but that's still good if you were day trading or swing trading. That's good for about a 34% gain in just a few days. And these other rips were much larger. So this was the most recent downtrend line. Bigger picture, we have a divergent low right here with prices from this point to this point, prices making lower lows, and you have higher lows in the PPO and the RSI. So this one has some longer term potential, and you might want to let this rip run. Since that breakout, it's already moved up 47%, but this would be my first or next target. I could add little micro levels here if you want to. There's some reaction highs. I should say this is my first target just above. Then around this level here, and then that opens the door for a move all the way up there. And you're talking a lot of meat on the bone. If this one heads up to that $3 level, that's about another almost 300% if it gets there. Next up, ENRT, Entertopia Corp. We had a downtrend line here. You can even go back on a 2-day chart, see that pretty well-defined downtrend line. That breakout was a long entry, and that proved to be still to this day. The stock is still in an uptrend after taking out that downtrend line. It was a powerful downtrend line, hence a powerful reversal once we took it out. We broke out, back tested it, and you can see I can extend it a little bit. Perfect back test, and then boom, this thing hasn't looked back. However, it has now come full circle. This one's getting a little ahead of itself. It's had a heck of a run, and more importantly, we have a divergent high. If you look down here on the PPO and the RSI, you can see from this point here, price is making a higher high. That's negative divergence. Just as I pointed out here, we had negative divergence at this point, and from there we had a pretty significant correction. I should have used this. I'm trying to grab the arrow tool. There we go. So this is one I'm watching, and we also have this rising wedge. So this one I think may want to move back down here to the 0.0684 level. Maybe a reaction there, maybe not. But if it breaks this uptrend line, this is also a bearish rising wedge following a divergent high. This one may need to come back in here. So if you want to know where I'd like to buy this one, would be around this 0.0463 level. I see nice support. If you look to the left here on the chart, you can see quite a few reactions. So that would be an ideal buy point and scenario on that one. Other than that, you know, some of these things can burn through divergences. The sector's strong, but I just wouldn't chase this one right here. Not at this point. I'd rather buy that one, let that one come back in a little bit. EDXC, Index Corp. Was that one that I need to cover? No, I already covered that one in the previous video. CBDS, Cannabis Sativa, lines everywhere as you can see, but most importantly I'm noting a divergent high right here at this point. A series of 2 consecutive divergent highs, and you know, the previous one did play out for a correction. There was your correction after this divergent high. And right now we've come full circle, made another divergent high. Now we have corrected off that divergent high, and we're also correcting sideways. We're dancing along the support level. We have a horizontal support line there. We also have a fairly well-defined uptrend line, which we're just now cracking below. There hasn't been any impulsive selling, but with the 2 consecutive divergent highs, my preference, I'll just tell you on this one, would be to see a pullback to this level right here. Let me give that level to you. It's a support zone, comes in around 370. So if this level cracks, which is what I'd prefer to see to work off these overbought conditions, clear out the divergences, or let the divergences play out, and then scale into that one around 370. It has some really nice support, a lot of reactions when you follow that line to the left. So that would be my preferred buy zone on that one. Next up, let's see, CGRW. This one's relatively new. There's not a lot of trading history. There's a downtrend line right here. And there's also what I like about it's intersecting. Again, these are some of my favorite trades, whether you have intersecting trend line and horizontal support or price, horizontal support or resistance. In this case, it's resistance. The downtrend line is also resistance, so a solid pop above that line and the downtrend line. You can see these are just intraday. All these are candlestick wicks, they call them, i.e. shadows, wicks. You know, if the shadow is below, it's called a tail. So those really don't matter. I see a lot of bodies. That's what's important here. There's a lot of reactions on the bodies or the closes. So we've yet to close above that downtrend line. And if we do take it out, and you'll probably note it'll probably be a move with, you know, high volume, a lot of conviction. That should run us right up to the 247, almost 248 level. I'll try to quantify it for you. It's about 17, almost 17% if it makes it there, and it may continue from there. I would expect a reaction, and then if that breaks out, that would be your next buy point. All right, next one up. That was Seedgrow IPR, Innovative Industrial Properties. So here's a REIT, for example, that I haven't looked into this company, but I imagine they lease the buildings, whether it's grow houses, storage facilities, distribution centers, who knows, something to do, I'm sure, with the cannabis sector. And so it's not a direct play on a grower. Maybe a dividend involved there. I don't know. You have to check that one out. It's the P ratio. No, I don't see any dividend. But there's a minor uptrend line. Here was a downtrend line that was taken out. So that was bullish. There was a breakout. We hit this first resistance level here. I have that line at 1822, and the next resistance or target's around 1911. So there's one that's in an uptrend, but it needs to break this uptrend line. I'm sorry, this horizontal price resistance level, and especially on a closing basis. We've had a few intraday breaks. If this minor uptrend line goes, it's probably going to come back here. So you could also buy it down here. That'd be an ideal buy zone around 1760. If it pulled back to that level, it's pretty nice support when I look to the left. ERBB. American Green, nice downtrend line. We can even go back longer and see that long-term downtrend line. with a series of, we had a divergent low here. There was a descending price channel. Let's zoom back in. So when that long-term downtrend line was taken out right here, that was a great buy signal. And we even had an early buy signal and a breakout of this minor downtrend line here. So there were two buy signals, and that led to a nice rip. I mean, from that first one alone, this stock ran 655%. Came back in. There was a sharp move up. And we had a sharp move down, but it didn't give back all of those gains. It sort of consolidated in this area. There was a downtrend line here set up. We popped above that downtrend line, and I would probably change this resistance level right now to about that point there. So that's the story on this one. It's above the downtrend line support. Your two buy areas would be, or your next buy zone or ideal, it was this trend line, this horizontal support line down here, this line, or a break above that level. That would be your next buy trigger. So either of those, let it come back in a little, buy it here, hopefully for a move back up and above there. If it wants to go ahead now and power up on through there, this would be your next price target. Then up here, and that's around the 4 cent, 0.004, I should say, 0.4 of a cent level. All right, next one up, AMMJ. This one's been a great one. I know that we've put this one on the site. I've been covering this one for a while. We had a breakout down here, dual trend line support. That's a really nice level to see, and that one was good for about a 1900% gain. So you had this yellow downtrend line, this larger downtrend line that goes off to the left of the chart. You can see that. So come back here to this is a 2-year, 1-day period chart, daily chart, and from there it worked its way up a well-defined uptrend line. And so this break of that uptrend line, plus it had a divergent high. So here's one that was warning you at this point, okay, we have an uptrend. That uptrend was violated. That peak there ended with a divergent high or negative divergence, and that one had a healthy correction, pulled back to the tune of about 70, almost 80%. And so it's certainly corrected in price, and it's also corrected in time, moving sideways. It's dancing on this support level. You can see it there, 0.6615. If that goes, we have next support down here at 0.52, 52 cents. And if that goes, 33. This would be a great buy level. It's a pretty solid support level if it gets down that low. Now, it may not get that low, so maybe add a third of position here, a third there, and your last third right there, take you up to whatever full position means for you in these stocks. This is a very low priced, aggressive, highly speculative stock. So, it would be a fraction of what you'd normally trade in a regular position. And if it reverses from here, you have that's plan A, let's say. Plan B is to add on strength. If it starts to move up and it takes out this previous reaction high, maybe then you add your second, third lot, 1/3 of the lot. And then you have this previous reaction high to challenge. If it breaks that, that's bullish, and that would then take the stock. I don't know if it's going to take it to, yeah, it would take it to all-time highs. And that's then what we call blue skies. There's no resistance above. It would look good at that point. TRTC up next. Let me find that one. Here we go. A lot of trend lines here, quite busy, but most important thing I'd highlight on this chart is this level here, 0.2245. I see a lot of reactions. There's almost one there, a couple reactions there, reaction there, reaction there. There might be some to the left of the chart. Now each of these lines, if I zoom in, you can see it is at support now, and you can see all the reactions to the left. So this one trades well off the technicals. It's just hard for me to say if this one's going to move back down. I can tell you if it does fall back down to this 2245 level, that would be an objective level to add. You can certainly add here. It's at support, but it recently broke below this pattern here, and it might have a little more downside to go. And if it turns around here, or even if it goes down to the 2245 level and reverses, this is a pretty key resistance level, 0.2935. So you want to see a break above that, and this puppy could run. And there's going to be some levels here. I don't have all the levels marked in between, but ultimately I'd see this one challenging its previous highs at about 0.5646, and then I'm discounting this brief intraday spike. This is where I see the most reaction, so that'd be a key level. And if that gets taken out down the road, that would be longer term bullish. Next up, MCOA. This one's in this symmetrical triangle pattern. You can see these two lines here. It had a triangle pattern here. It broke out, and that was a great buy signal back then. Again, the moves, we've had a lot of great moves, 3,400% plus, almost 3,500, yeah, over 3,500, about 3,600% from that breakout. And if I'm not mistaken, that breakout was highlighted, the triangle was highlighted, the downtrend line back in advance before it happened. So there was your buy signal. That one ripped. And, had an uptrend line here. It broke below. But this is the pattern I'm watching now. And it's really pushing down on the bottom of that triangle pattern. So be on the lookout for a break, and then you might want to buy this one or pull back to this level, about 0.0297. So we'll call that 3 cents. If this one comes back into the 3-cent level, maybe a hair above it, you want to step in and buy. I think that would have worked off enough of the overbought conditions in this triangle. And an upside break of the triangle, obviously that'd be a bullish technical event, and that would take us up to the previous highs. CGRW, Canagro Holdings, very, 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 very well defined trend line right there. So many reactions. That's what makes it, better than others. Some more reactions, the more valid the trend line. You couldn't have a better buy signal there. I mean, there was a little false break there, but this one stuck. You can't see it here. It was confirmed on volume. That one ripped up from that point of the breakout about, 100%. Set up with another downtrend line. And then broke above that downtrend line and had another rip. This time we went up about 414%. Got a little ahead of itself, that's to say the least. That's a big run, and came back in quite a bit. But it hit this support zone, former resistance zone. We've hit it once, we've hit it twice. Both of those were objective buy points. And, if we hit it again, same story. That's support, and support is support unless broken. We may not hit it again. We've already tagged it twice. Hard to say. Could probably draw a downtrend line here if I exclude that one little brief spike out there. So this is what I would see on this one. You can either buy this one on a breakout above this horizontal line, that's resistance, as is the downtrend line. So you have right now, well, just the downtrend line comes in just below the horizontal level. So to be safe, wait for a break of that level. There's your target there around 225. First target, next target's 350. Or you want to buy it on a pullback again to support either the top or the bottom of the zone, and then try to ride that one on up. I think it looks good, but right now we're a bit in what I call no man's land. No man's land is when you're smack in the middle between support and resistance. I like to buy stocks either on support or a breakout above resistance. All right, next one up, CVSI. I like this one. It's had a tough time recently. It's been moving lower since this peak back here around the elections. However, you have a series of downtrend lines. I can go back longer in time. You can see that first downtrend line. I'm just clicking out to a 2-day period chart. Go back to my daily. That's that same longer-term downtrend line. We broke above it. And then we started forming this downtrend line here. And there was a buy signal there. Ripped up. We had a bull flag continuation pattern in the middle. I must have highlighted at the time. This is just a measured move off the bottom. That's the flagpole, bull flag, and it hit that measured target pretty darn close. Just went a hair above it. From there, it corrected. So these are all support and resistance levels. The most salient line on this chart right now that I'm watching is this downtrend line. It's pretty well defined, and it's as simple as that. This one may want to come back into maybe down here to this next support level, but it's at a level right now that's acted as an excellent support and resistance level in the past. So this is certainly an objective long here. Your next buy signal would be on a break above the downtrend line there, and targeting any or all of these levels over time, or you could take a partial position now and add on a pullback here. So that's how I would game this one. Half position here, adding the second half either here on a pullback to support or a breakout above the downtrend line. And next up would be Chuma Holdings, CHUM. Downtrend line, breakout back test. One's traded sideways for a while. But it's trading along this support level. It's not a super well-defined support level, but it is support. Not one of my favorites. It's a very thinly traded stock, but you can buy it here and sell it when it gets up around this point 815 level. You can see the reactions there. There's also a downtrend line that comes into play here, and that would also be a target, that downtrend line, and very bullish if and when the stock breaks above that. So the way you might want to trade this one, sooner or later, if there's any bit of fundamental story to this one, it's going to come up here, it's going to take out this downtrend line, and that would be bullish, and I could see it running all the way up here to the 43.5-cent level over time. Okay, a couple more and then we're finished here. CBIS, Cannabis Sativa. Oh, great trading stock. I mean, wow, just look at all these downtrend lines, breakout and explosion. I mean, huge gains. I won't even quantify them. You can look at the pricing on the left and see how much this one, that's a log scaling chart. So these gains, I'm sure, are measured probably in the triple digits. And but again, it's just such well-defined downtrend lines. You just sit, wait patiently, and then take the breakouts. Let it set up again the downtrend line, take the breakout. Finally, this one really stuck, and it took out this longer-term downtrend line, the blue downtrend line that goes all the way back here to 2014. And once that level went, it flagged. I think I highlighted this at the time. Breakout above the minor downtrend line. There's your bull flag, your flagpole, bull flag pattern, and then just an explosive move out of there. Got a little ahead of itself, pulled back in, and in the process, it set up this uptrend line. Now we've broken down below that uptrend line. However, is over, well, I don't want to say overbought. I mean, this one did come up from the bottom. It has a run of about 1,200, 1,300%. We had a divergent high, pretty powerful negative divergence, and that has played out so far for a correction. It may be more. So let me just give you my quick take on this one. It's hard to say, but I can tell you this is a pretty decent support level. Now it's just starting to crack below that. If that happens, you're going to probably come down and visit this support level here, and that's at about 0.048. There is certainly a little resistance, support between there, but that's probably where I'd look to buy it next. But also be on the lookout for a breakout above this downtrend line, because that would also be a bullish technical event, and that could bring the stock back up to the previous highs. Well, there's another price alert. SOX just triggered, broke. I guess that's the official short entry, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, note short entry. So that one's now an official trade. I'll get a post out on the site as soon as possible. Yeah, I'm only a couple more stocks in this video and we're finished. CNBX. There it is, divergent high. Yeah, this one needed to come in at the clear negative divergence. It's just had a heck of a run up again too, like everything else. 16,500% from down here. What else can you say? It needed a breather. It's broken this uptrend line now, so that's a near-term bearish signal. However, it's on support. Could you buy that support? You can, but be careful because that's a powerful divergent high. I'm not stepping in and buying this one right now. There's another support level down here. I would prefer to see this one work its overbought conditions off, at least in time, if not in price and or both. So that one you might want to hold off on right now. I just wouldn't chase it. And the last one is Arrow Grow. Downtrend line. Again, that downtrend line goes back for years. That was a powerful buy signal when it was broken, and it has a had a very well defined uptrend line. That broke, back tested. So this one works well to the technicals too. Had a little flagging action here, and it's continued down. So this one, in my opinion, has corrected probably enough. That was certainly bearish pattern. It was negative divergence. You can see the divergence at the high as well, and but it's already played out for its correction. So it's this one has certainly paid its dues or paid its time. So it's corrected in price. And it's come down to a pretty well-defined support level with a lot of reactions, or support zone, I should say. It tagged the top of that support zone a couple of times. It broke out above the downtrend line, which is also a descending price channel, and has come back in. Looks like we're retesting it now right at a support level. Here's a support level here. So you could certainly, this one I'd probably scale in. Buy a little here. If it comes back down to the support zone again, buy some. And if it can take out, here's some reactions here. It needs to take that out to be bullish. I think if that happens, it'll challenge the previous highs again. All right, we'll wrap it up here. This has been Randy Finney with the right side of the chart. Got a few price alerts going off today, so I'm going to get onto the site right now and make some posts. Hope you enjoyed it.